G'day and welcome to part, I'm going to say 17 on the ZK Fairlane. A lot of stuff. We've sorted at the front end, so I'm really happy with that. The only thing I've got left now is the sway bar. And a few other bits and pieces. Got to make a modulator line for it. And I'll fit an EGR valve. A few other bits and pieces. And we'll start him up. But we're not going to start at this chapter. This is about finalising all those little loose ends. We'll do that in the next one. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoy. Right, I'm getting really tired of this. These bushes won't punch in any more than that. And there. I'm sure they're going a bit further. That one looks like it's sort of passable. This one won't go any further. And I'll try to clean that off a bit. That's the old bush. If you look carefully, it's kind of tapered. Or it comes along and then waves up, if you know what I mean. It's only fit one way. But those ones, once I put in, the larger part goes on for longer. So it stops them going in the full amount. I pulled these out of the other arms I bought, and these were virtually not fitted. They almost fell out. It's ridiculous. And they're a completely different diameter. Because OE ones just, flop around in the breeze in there. So I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm not really sure what to do. I did replace them in the XC, I think, but I can't remember what type I bought. So I'm going around sort of looking at other bits and pieces. I've got to wash that water bottle. We've got our brand new tyres. Oops, and there's another one there. Gave the tail shaft liquid paint and the yoke, and that yoke has a groove in it about halfway down. I'm hoping, that's the 6-cylinder one, I'm hoping it lands in a slightly different spot with the V8 driveline. The fuel line's hooked up and I've got it running down there and under where it's supposed to, although I'm not going to bend down. It's supposed to go behind that hole, so I've got it in the wrong spot. Just preparing a back brake line. And hinge is ready to put in. The T-bar shifter. Oh, my phone's ringing. Hang on a sec. Oh gosh, what else was there? Yes, the fuel line. So I've hooked up a little piece of fuel hose, and that can sit in my boat fuel tank, which I use on the engine stand just in the passenger floor. Because I'm going to drive the car out of here and turn it around and then go forwards in, if you know what I mean. Because then I can sort of work on the back a bit easier. And Bob's your uncle. I'm getting itchy feet for the doors. I'll put that washer bottle in. I haven't done that yet. And I've also been sizing up the earth wire which goes onto the block here, and there's another one that goes from the cylinder head onto the body. I've got to get some fusible link wire. Is that what that is? That could be actually. Oh no, maybe it is. Yeah, so look, it's getting there. It's getting there. I've been also rerouting the starter trigger. I've got to go to the other place and measure the dipstick on the XD to find out what is going on with that. And looking at these wires here, I made a stupid mistake. I'll tell you what I did. I put speakers in behind here. And, pardon me, someone, I can't remember, I think there were speakers there before, I'm not sure. Someone had them in the door, ergo, drilled a hole in the door. So I'll put the speaker grills back on the door because somebody's already cut the holes. But, yeah, I'm using the speakers in the dash, not the door. So I'll block up any drilled holes in door frames, even though I think both door frames are different. Hang on a second. What have I done in terms of that? Oh, we got Door City. All right, so that is Daniel's door. That needs to be drilled. So it's got that hole there. That gets blocked up, and I'll put a hole for the main loom in, sized off that one. But I think I need to block that off. Someone's drilled that. So a little bit more to do, and I've also got to fix. That's the end of the welding on that. That doesn't need any more. Just got to paint strip them, and I'm going to put these two doors on. I'll put the driver's one on first, and then drive the car out and bring it back, and then I'll put that on. That's the driver's door, sorry. What else? Oh man. Just making a bit more room. Put the engine crane at the back. We've got another 302 coming. The CB, I want to get that started, and I might take that to the other place. We're going to extend the other place, the garage. This thing looks terrible. Even the shocks were brand new. Now they've got surface rust, which is awful. So the bike is kind of suffering, and that's like that because I got it against the Plymouth. But it's just the ball joints and the lower control arm bushes. They're just doing my head in. There's no reason for this. I don't think it's me. I think it's bad workmanship on parts that just don't get sold much these days. I'm not sure. Right, finally got some success with these ball joints. I ordered Road Safe from Burson, and they move like they're supposed to. So we're going to have a look at that. And a couple of other things. I'll show you when we get in there. Right. What have we got in the way of temperature? Oh, 37. Turn that power up. Hang on a second. Takes a while to spin this thing up, but it works well. That's better. When you stand under it, it's really good. When you first turn it on, it brings the heat off the roof down. It feels quite warm, but it cools down pretty quickly. I love that thing. Uni joints. Starting to fit uni. So that's our yoke. Put a uni on it. Lovely and free. And I just tied that to a wire on the roof just to let it dry, and that's nice. It's still a little bit tacky because it's very warm today. It does take a couple of heat cycles on warm days and cool days to really harden off that air dry enamel. But it looks pretty good. One thing I didn't have success with, see the water leak? The gland on the bottom is dried out. Of the washer bottle, I thought I'd top it up, but it topped up and then topped down and straight out of the car. I've been underneath here. Now, that's how a ball joint should move. There's resistance, but I can move it quite easily. These are road safe ones that I've stuck in the original arms. I'm pretty much finished under here. I've just got to do that, stick the tie rod end on, and we're good. I keep forgetting to put that bolt in there. I cannot stand missing bolts. And I've sort of come across a few other things as well. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? I'm happy with how it looks. I had to buy myself a 27mm spanner. I lost my other one. I had a 2732 double open ender, which for the fans on EA Falcons, and I was always missing one, so I had to sort of get that so I could tighten these radius rods up. I left, you notice it's got one plated nut and one painted one, and that's where the original position was. So I'm really happy with that. That's how it should be, right? These things are terrible. Now, if I get a rattle gun, that won't even move. It'll just go up and down on the thread. You've got to literally put it in a vise and really fight it with a ring spanner over it to move that. I think it's irresponsible to guide people to thinking that there's a break-in period required, because then, it depends on... I think it's dangerous anyway, because then the steering's not going to self-center. And these arms, again, not happy at all. So I'm now not going to use any products from these guys because I think they're faulty. It's Pro Steer, I think. These are the ones from Burson, and I've used Road Safe before. Again, look, it's not, the brand that's OE on Rolls Royces and Ferraris and stuff, but at least they move the way they're supposed to move. These ones don't have a nipple in the bottom. They're a sealed one, but they do what they're meant to do. These ones here do have a nipple, but there's been no issue with the top ones. It's just the bottom ones. So now we've got the little wires on the things. We can all put that all together and we're good. So the 6-cylinder battery cables actually fit the 8-cylinder car because the starter's in the same spot. I think this one was sort of over the top like that and down. I wanted to keep it away from there. I don't like the look of that. I had a bunch of these cables. I don't even know where I got them from. Pretty dirty ones from the engine stand box. And just wiped over one with a bit of Prepsol. And it looks really hunky-dory. And because it's going to be cabled down to where the cool lines are down here, it's still got plenty of length to it. I will put it in a bit of this stuff, even if only just the bottom bit, just to protect it from heat around the exhaust. I got this from J-Car. I much prefer J-Car to Super Cheap for things like this because they're just so much more reasonable. I think this was $8 or something. I'm always down there getting something for the cars. There we go. And I can cut that to length and just secure it. I've just got to go and get some cable ties. I've run out. Did I mention that? And I'll bring that up. I could even bring it up through there. That might even be tidier. I'm just repairing bits of wiring. Everything's gone well except this looks terrible. I think I'll just take that off and put heat shrink on it and make it look a bit tidier. I've got the earth on the motor, but I haven't got the motor earth to the car yet. These bits of stainless steel that you're seeing wiper inserts, they're the ones that you just snap off to the right length. They're absolutely brilliant at getting these out. Old connectors that have that sort of ramped up thing there that locks them into these connectors here. So that just fits in, and when you push it in, it actually pushes onto that ramp and helps you push it out. If we can get it in there, it pushes that down. So I always keep just one of them. The other thing I used to do is just sharpen them and use them to, what do you call it, aim washer jets and stuff, the ball type ones. So I've got to use a similar plug that has that barb on the back of it. And I've lengthened this, but I'm not sure if I've lengthened it to the right size. Now don't do what I'm doing, because if I let go of this it's going to flick up and it's going to hurt, because a bit of solder could go in my eye. But I'm just putting a bit in there. So I didn't use a proper crimp terminal. And that little barb should help it when I push it in. So it should go like that. And that way we can keep the original connector, you see. I like the original stuff better, but even though that colour is actually incorrect, I probably should have put some other protection on it because it's only quite a narrow wire. We can use some of that tubing just to keep it protected, because it's sort of up behind the head, or in front of the head. XDs have the stuff down there, if you can see down the bottom, that was actually the factory Ford stuff. So Ford did use this tubing. They didn't use it like that, but they still used it. And if you're thinking about doing it, then you can just terminate it underneath the battery tray, just so it's covered around the exhaust. That's the important part. We're going to get a cool change. In fact, I think it's here now. The temperature is 32. And it was 38, I think, in here. Now, this is the loom for the Fairlane, yeah? 7 pins, neutral start, reverse. The other 3 are speedo transducer. There's the 3 there for the speedo. Damn. And these are the ones for the neutral start. Now on the 6-cylinder gearbox, this plugs straight into the neutral start switch. There's no sort of pigtail wire on it. That's the neutral start that I've given a little bit of a clean to for the C4. Yeah, it feels like it's moving alright, which is cool. I haven't looked at the wiring diagram yet, but looking at these, there's a couple of similarities. Well, there's a couple. There's red with blue trace. Red with a blue trace. I'm tipping those heavier ones for the starter trigger. Yeah. What that does is only allows it to start in neutral and park, and then in the forward or reverse gears it disconnects those two. That just goes to the starter motor, and that's from the ignition switch or Vicky Verka. The other 2 I think are reverse lights. So looking at it, it's pretty easy to test this, and it's pretty easy to ascertain what they do. I will have to look in the manual at these ones, yeah, just to make sure, although I'm pretty certain I know, well, I'm pretty certain I'm right, but let's get a meter and we can test continuity. You probably can't even hear. I need some leads anyway. And this is just basic electricity stuff. There's nothing complicated about these. People seem to see wiring and they crap themselves. Now, this, I'm tipping red with the blue trace, which goes into that one. And I'll connect that to the negative on the meter. It doesn't really matter which one, because it's just a signal that you're trying to establish. And that can go on the positive one of the meter. And this one, yeah, that's continuity. This goes here. And we just listen for it. There it is. That's okay, so that's park. Hang on, park, reverse, neutral, drive, second, and first. I should probably clean this, pull this apart. You can undo, hang on, you can undo these and drill out those rivets and the thing will come apart. I was trying to avoid it. One thing I do like doing is using this. Now this is what I used on the radio, J-car. Can you see that? I might be in the wrong spot. It's just electric clean and lube. So it's like using brake clean, but it has a lubricant in it as well. So I'm going to shoot some, I saw a hole, there it is. Oh yeah, there's a bit of crap coming out of there, isn't there? Hang on, have I got a rag? Here's a serviette. Should probably pull it apart, you know. It doesn't look too enticing, but I don't want to buy a new one, not because I'm being mean or lousy, but I just don't want one. I like old OE reliable electrical things. Now, park, reverse, neutral, drive, 2, 1. Okay. I think that's fine. Let's go for reverse. See if that works. And straight off the bat, I'm not hearing anything. That was park. That's reverse, drive, second, 2, 1. So that works. That's actually really good. In the meantime, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to unwrap the loom, because I'm going to shorten it, and I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to fit one of these, it's the same sort of thing as that, to one end of this, and the other one to one end of that, so that it's sort of retrofitted to the newer or the 6-cylinder type loom. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the V8s used in the XEs and ZKs. They might have used a different one. I'm tipping they use that, but we're not going to use it. I've got a hustle today. The power's going out at 9 o'clock in the morning and it's 10 to 10 now. Got a phone call from a good mate of mine, Neil. I've known Neil since I was in year 7 in high school. What were we, 12 or 13 or something? And he said, you know that colour on your engine is wrong. Yep, I know that. These are normally quite a stark silver, like rattle can silver. It's not a very nice colour. And the same with the air cleaner base. Now, my XD was like that too when it was new, but it always had a darker lid. It's probably not as dark as that, but it's not far off that, and I don't know why. And that was how it came from the factory. So I don't understand why the lid and the base were a different colour, but Ford do funny things. That's probably more the colour there. So, here's our little transmission loom, okay? I don't know if I'll put it in convoluted tubing, but I've cut that shorter. That was all stiff, that wiring. They were sort of level together. And I've put that J-car plug on it. Both transmission, neutral safety, what is it called? Neutral safety stop wires are at the top. Reverse lights are at the bottom. I haven't even checked in the manual yet to see what the equivalent is in the car. The other thing is, our puddle is smaller. So maybe that gland under there isn't leaking. Yes, it is, but not much. If it dries up there and there's still liquid in there, I'll just top it up a bit more. Otherwise, I'll just get a new seal. It's pretty easy. So, what I want to do There's the male part there. I'm just going to plug those in, drop it down, get underneath and have a look and see where it lands. Right, that rag, you can see there, that's where the transducer goes. Both on the same side. Neutral start goes in here, so I'm just going to take the kick down lever off and slip the neutral start on. What are they? Maybe quarter inch, quarter 20s. What I didn't know is the floor shift runs off the top. The column shift runs off the bottom with that pushing gland thing. Didn't know that. So that is only going to have to be quite short. But if I leave sort of 8 inches, that'll be enough. And then that one, I'll have to clip it. I might put a little cable stay on the side, on the top servo bolt there. And then I should be hunky-dory. Awesome. Right, here's a little neutral start. And, pardon me, its wiring's good there, but it's a bit stiff sort of here. I was going to cut it. Is that going to be long enough? That's where it's stiff. Yeah, stuff it out there. Okay, so we'll keep that. That's actually a good thing to hang on to, because being the opposite of the other one, I can use that by bridging those two for a manual car, and that still works for your reverse. Or is that on the wrong side now? No, it's on the right side, I think. And the black one. And that one. I do this the wrong way. I'm sort of a bit mental like that. But then, you know, I'm kind of running the gauntlet because this power is about to go off. It should have gone off an hour ago. It hasn't gone off yet. And I'm getting a little bit nervous about it. Look at my hands. I've got to do something about my hands. Even a kid at school goes, you need moisturiser. And the only guy I know who uses moisturiser is Pt17, and I always tease him about it, but I'm not about to start now. I'm just going to do something dodgy. This isn't the right way to do this. Is that heated up enough? Might give it a bit longer. Oh, it's got a bit of heat in it. Is that going in? Come on, get in there, you son of a gun. There you go. That ain't going nowhere. And so that's just how I like doing it. You've got to watch that. That's got that little clasp on it too. It's much better when you put the iron here and you melt the solder, and the solder pools onto the terminal, and because it's in a liquid form, its heat transfers to the conductor much better, and that is never going to go anywhere. So just let me get the other thing, and the best way to do this and not make a mistake, which is normally what I do, is to plug that in. And then look at these guys. We've got the two starter ones at the top. That should be right. Right, linkages. This one. Can you see the whole thing? And we've got this one. Now, that's off the Fairlane. This one here. It uses an end like that. You plug that bush into the thing you want shifted, then a bit of grease, push that in, and voila. And I thought to myself, right, the C4 is like this, yeah? The shifter is vertical, the actuator coming off the shifter, whoa, just blew some cardboard, and the shifter's on that trajectory. Now, that doesn't reach the bottom part. It's a two-part shift on the C4, if you remember. The bottom one is for column shift, where you've got a rod travelling underneath the pan, and there's a little bracket. The top one is for the T-bar, which is like that, but that's the wrong way around. Anyway, I thought to myself, I'm going to cut and shut myself a new one. Then I found this, and I reckon that's the right one. It uses a split pin in the top. The hole in the top of the C4 shifting is actually smaller, so it doesn't use a bush. It just uses this with 2 washers, flat washers, and a split pin. So I'm tipping that's got to be it. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a wipe down. I bet you guys think I'm on the spectrum, don't you? I might put, this is just a Scotch-Brite pad. Let's give it a wipe off with a bit of Prepsol, and I'll just throw some metal clear over it. Right, so we've got T-bar shifter and the receptacle. This was $100, which is fair. This goes inside, and there's a lever coming off the bottom. This was sloppy because there's a bush in there. Was also missing its button. There's a bush in there which, well, there's that one which I cut and put in, but it's no good, which is exactly the same as this, from what I can see. Now this here is a pedal box, automatic pedal box, from a seller on eBay. And I didn't want this, I actually ordered an accelerator pedal. And everyone warned me about him. I said, oh, this is seller. Everyone said, don't use him, he's dodgy. Well, he sent this out, and I texted him back and said, or sent a message back, it's the wrong part. I need the accelerator pedal assembly. What do you want me to do with this? And he goes, just keep it. And to my amazement, the accelerator pedal turned up. So he looked after me. Anyway, I'm going to try and raid some bushes out of it. You can buy them, they're only like $8 or something. But I need a bigger screwdriver. Just a moment. Now, does that come out? Yes, it does, and that's the bush I want there. So, oh, hang on, here we go. The ones in the pictures actually look a lot like, that's the clutch pedal replacement for the automatic. They look a lot like these. I'm kind of hoping they are. Very similar, and they're thin when you buy them too. So let me just pop that to the side and see if these guys fit here. Hang on. Oh, that's perfect. Hang on a minute. Oh, yes. Apparently you need 2 of them though, so I might have to cut one down. But I think they're the same thing. So that looks like that's a snug fit. That's good. And we'll just make another one. So I'll shorten that, put the other one in from the other side, and we should be golden. So if oh, that tightens it up no end. With another bush there, that's going to be perfect. Good. Okay, here's a 6-cylinder version. The lockout and everything is the same, but this exit's on the other side on a V8, this side on the 6. The fitting is also different. Let's take that off. I'm going to cut those in a minute. Whereas this one comes around here. That pin there is just for the quadrant light that sits inside a sleeve. Yeah. So the V8 one that we've bought is missing the actuator button. The grain on the one I bought is slightly better than the one that was on the car. The grain on the top of it. So we can take that off. Oops, there we go. And there should be a spring, which there is. Lovely. And we'll pull. I've got another one of those as well. Just a moment. Here's another 6-cylinder one. Completely different. Now, what's actually surprising is that we call it a 6-cylinder one, the V8 one, only because it's got a C4. A 6-cylinder case-filled C4 would most likely have the same shifter as the V8. Motorcycle enthusiasts will always have this stuff around. It's the 4 zeros, 0000. Steel wool, it's the finest type. And it's great for cleaning up chrome. You can use a chrome polish as well, I suppose. This one's not really doing an awful lot because the chrome is damaged, but see that area there where all that yucky film is? That's probably hand crap from previous users of the car. So we can just go over it, and you don't see down here. As far as these are concerned, that's probably the better of the two. even though it's kind of dirty. So you wouldn't use a coarser steel wool because it will scratch chrome. See, it's a little bit reluctant. I think we'll lubricate that. That whole thing will come off. I need to free that up. I'm not happy with that. I'm just sort of working a lubricant in there. And I'll let it drain off. And I'll put it in through the top. You can take this out. I've never done it, but you can take it out by... There's a slot in the end of that. There's 11 millimeters of thread, so I can take that off. But I'm just going to try lubricating it first, because I don't want to take off what I don't have to. But that's free as a bird. That's good as gold. That should be right about perfect, I think. I might just take a tiny bit off this one here. So this button it's got a rebate there. It's different on the other side. That rebate faces down, I think, to allow that pointy thing to go in. And then you can actuate it by pressing it. Is that correct? Right, that's how it works there. Alright, so that rebate faces down. The spring's in there. So that can sort of rotate when it gets in. I think you have to have some pressure on it to let that ball through. Like that. Hang on a minute, is that right? That seems okay. We'll get our little grub screw and we'll put him in. Okay. We'll put that through here. Some bloody hell. Hang on, won't it go on now? They might be too thick. Just a minute. I need it tight. Oh, there we go. Lift it up, put him in gear. And then this one here, which I'm going to put a bit of slip on as well, is in there, just to force it in. He is going to go in nicely. At least that's the idea. Maybe it's got there. This is what happens when you try and use the wrong parts. Perfect. Right. Okay. Let's just leave him like that for a bit, hey? So I'm finished the shifter. Got a little white plugs in for the quadrant thing. And this was a pain in the neck because this didn't have one. And the 6-cylinder used one of those plugs in about a 12mm hole. It was a huge hole in there. Maybe a bit less. And so I had to take this hole out 1mm, right, in order to fit that from the 6. I've tapped the end of it, got a nut on there, it acts like a lock nut, and I spent ages doing what was supposed to be very quick. Now that's going to sit like that. You've got to be kidding me. No, that's not going to sit like that. That's going to sit like that. I'm already getting it wrong. There we go. That's part, that's first. I'm just going to pop a couple of, what are they called? Bolts in. What am I doing? Oh, here we go. Just to hold it still. Now, I haven't been able to mount this permanently because I need some domestic, I don't know what you call it. It's a Selly's product that stays soft. It's brilliant for around taillights and this sort of stuff. All Bunnings sell is silicone or construction adhesive. They didn't have anything that was even remotely like it. So the $64,000 question is if this is all going to be in the right spot. I can see that is perfect. Hang on. That goes in there. That goes in there. Oh, that's great. All right, so what I can do I've got, this is going to be a prick to get the thing on, what do you call it, the split pin. It does face down though, and it's going to be challenging, I reckon. Right, so I've got that in. I'm not going to be able to test it tonight because I want to permanently fit the hump, the transmission hump. So I've taken the kick down off. Make sure if you do this, you don't lose that little O-ring in there. That's just the seal for the kick down. This bloke goes in and indexes. It's got a couple of little slots. One there, one there. Now, pardon me, I'm going to have to move that around for adjustment. There's a bit of adjustment in there. Should probably use a longer thread one. That's not going to interfere, is it? No. Okay. And then that plug will obviously go up in there, which is cool. Right, so I've got this thing wired up, sort of, just to see the adjustment on the neutral start switch. When the T-bar is all the way forward, it's got a pivot, which means the lever's pulling all the way back. So that would be, that's parked there. But I can't hear the thing going off. So if I go park, can I move this at all? There it is. So if I just nip that up there, that's park. Right, so that, you've got to sort of think about it. So all the way forward, back, sorry, is park. Reverse, we've got reverse light. Neutral, drive, second and first. So first, second, drive, neutral, we've got the beep again, so it's going to start, reverse and park. Splendid. Just putting some handbrake apparatus back in. I think this is it. I think it is because that's an 8mm thread. But I've got these other ones here. I don't even know what they're off. We'll go with this, we'll try this. Look under this side, I've got the handbrake back on. It's kind of criminal to put all that nice stuff on. When it's so dirty and oily and everything, I still might do something with it. How's this for a bit of a win? That was the evaporator bracket. No, the condenser bracket, sorry, for the air conditioning. And the one behind is just a right angle piece of steel. It's underneath where the starter is. It does make the starter a pain to get out, because you're going to undo, there's a 10mm there, and undo that, and then sort of push them out the way and get it out. But it holds them beautifully. That is really super rigid. So I'm very pleased with that. A few other bits and pieces. I still haven't put those split pins on the idler. Exhaust, I've been inquiring about exhaust. The guys haven't got back to me yet. Oh, and I've also got to do the modulator valve. This guy here, there's a vacuum line that goes up to the manifold. These are, I think, a 7/16 course thread that goes in the back of the cylinder head there. And I'll just tack it onto where the canister sits. Should get something out of this now. If I put that there, and hang on a second, that won't reach, I don't think. What I might do is I might just turn the ignition on. Damn, I think that's the wrong key. Hang on a minute. Oh, that must be the Galaxy's key. Oh, no, we got success. Hang on. That must be the Galaxy's key. Yep, we're hearing relays and things. I'll turn that off. I don't want to do with the key for it. And I'm going to just, can I stretch that over? Hang on. Very stretched over. And I'm just going to put that there. And that will take the place of that earth that's not over there. That should make noise when I turn the key. but it doesn't. Just a sec. Wasn't in park. Hang on a minute. I've got to get the right key. Yep. We got a starter signal. That is so cool. Right. Well, in the next video, we're going to put oil in. I've got a box of AFL1s. So I'll change that. Fill it with oil. Fill it with coolant. Fill it with power steering fluid, which is the same as tranny fluid. And I'm going to put makeshift exhaust on. I think we'll start it up. Check all the steering, all this sort of stuff. Got to find what to do with the key. There's still a tiny bit of slack in the steering. Oh, now the steering lock's on. In the steering. Anyway, that'll do for now. Thanks very much for watching. Take extra good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Oh, I didn't tell you. I had success with these. Wonderful. Now that can go in. I'm happy. Look at this. One glove box hinge has just shown up. What I've got to do now is try and find the other one.